Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. You guys are beyond the veil, and you are here because I am Medina, and I'm inviting you beyond the veil. So, welcome. Excuse my throat. I just came back from the beach. So, I'll wait until some of you guys start joining me, and then we'll begin. I wasn't back in time to do this at 6 as promised, but I wasn't going to let the night go by without doing this reading tonight. So I will commence, but I'm just waiting a few moments to see if anyone's going to join me. Hi, DeFranco, the Cosmic Traveler. How are you this Monday evening? Hello, Shirley. How are you this Monday evening? Oh, y'all ain't gonna tell me how y'all doing? Okay. Okay, you're great, DeFranco. Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So it looks like it's just us for the night. I won't delay. I will begin. You're well, Shirley. I'm glad to hear that. Very glad to hear it. So before I begin, I meant to make an announcement to my subscribers mostly. Give me 1 second to pull up something really quick. Hey, JD. How are you this evening? Just give me 1 second, you guys. I'm looking for something. How you doing, JD? Oh, you're doing well? Good. Okay. So, take my time. Okay. So, what's today? The 26th. We have one more Tuesday in June. 26 and 7, 29, 30, 31. Nope. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. You smoking and sipping? That sounds excellent. Carrie L. Allington, I'm doing very well. Tired, but I'm doing very well. How you doing this evening, Carrie? All right. So for all of my viewers, Busted Babies, subscribers who care, I mentioned before that I was going to roll out one more group ceremony before I go on a group ceremony hiatus. Because it wears me out. I've been doing so many of them, and I did them because I wanted to kind of give back in my own way, but I need a break. But there's one more that I want to do, and on June, hi Mr. Bear, on Tuesday, June 24th, I am going to do a group fuck around and find out ceremony. Now what is that? I'm sorry. Oh, that's interesting. Carrie, very interesting. Tell me where you were watching it so I might check it out. All right, a fuck around and find out ceremony. So for a lot of my regular ceremony participants, we kind of started out where I would like to say where I've been leading you guys, because there's a rhythm and rhyme to the ceremonies that I've been offering and the way I offered them. So I would like to say November I think we did a blockbuster in November or something like that. We in March we did, oh, the blockbuster was to clear out any blockages for the crown of success on the spring solstice. We did that. Yes, I'm high, Vinny. Yes, I'm okay, Shaquina. I am. I just got back from the beach. I had a long, long, long weekend, a long, long, long day. And yes, I just had 420 time. But we did the crown of success on the spring solstice. And pretty much all of you, um, I mentioned how the spring, the seed was planted. And then the summer season is when we would kind of see the fruition, the fullness of what we worked on in the crown of success. Now, I think June 20th is the summer solstice. And so I actually should do this on the 17th, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to. Okay, I think I should do this on the 17th before the summer solstice. So instead of, and I'll go ahead and post this on my page so in case anybody needs to reference the date and information. Tuesday, June 17th, I'm going to do a fuck around and find out. That's 3 days before the summer solstice. Y'all want good summer vibes. Okay, so the fuck around and find out. Now, a lot of people feel like they have ops, they have enemies. I have a lot of people who come and get consultations with me and they ask, they want to know if they have hexes, curses, or any kind of other spell work on them. And for the most part, I kind of don't see that on a lot of you all. But from what you guys are experiencing in your everyday life, it's a lot of messy stuff going on out there that I wasn't even aware of. Thank you, Josiah. I did my own nails. Um, it's a lot of messy stuff going on out there in these streets that I didn't know was going on. I didn't know that everybody was just out there trying to hex and curse people. And what are you young ladies out there doing? But anyway, some of you guys are it's a lot of chaos out there. So anyway, so fuck around and find out. It's a 3-in-1. And that is why I'm going to offer this and go on a hiatus because it's a 3-in-1 and it requires so much energy for me because I go into battle. So everybody thinks, oh, can I do a return to sender, stuff like that. And that you do that when you, so as a spiritual doctor, as I consider myself, a fuck around and find out is a 3-in-1. It's a negative energy removal. It doesn't matter if you have a hex or a curse. If you feel like you have negative energy or negative people interfering in your life that may hinder anything that you're trying to do, like you're trying to get to your bag, you're trying to do this, this, and this. Like I have one client who I spoke to recently. She's been, doing the ceremonies, and she just got a brand new house for a bedroom. All her kids have their own room, but the moment she starts to level up, out of nowhere, people start coming and asking her if they can stay with her, if they can live with her until they get on their feet. And it's like the moment people see that you're glowing up and you're doing better, and they perceive that you're doing better for them, especially if they don't know how you're doing what you're doing, brother, it's that kind of situation. So she's just like, I don't understand. Like, should I let them? And I'm looking at it like, these people don't need your help. They just want, first of all, to clock and see what you're doing because you just got this big brand new house and doing this, this, and this. And two, staying with you is a way of sabotaging you while kind of leeching off of you. These are already people that she doesn't have the best of relationships with, and they're trying to invite themselves to move in with her because she's got enough space, they feel like. And they want to displace her kids so that they can, sleep in a bedroom and so stuff like that. So a fuck around and find out isn't it's not a return to sender, and it's a 3-in-1. It's a hex removal, and then it is, or negative energy. I won't say hex, I'll say negative energy because a lot of people aren't hex, but a lot of people do have negative energy in their lives. It's a negative energy removal, and not only that, but it is a fiery wall of protection. And anybody can use a little protection, but My fiery walls of protection, I work with archangels and archangel ceremonies. And so you usually are super, super, super good and untouchable, for 6 months to 6 to 12 months. And then, now some people do return to senders, but I don't. That's where the fuck around and find out comes in. And so I don't hurt, I don't hex, I don't curse. But what I will do, if you are creating an imbalance, a negative effect, or an injustice in someone's life that they don't deserve, then I will cut that. I will cut that off. I'll cut it off. I won't dissolve it. I won't blow it away. I will cut it off. And then when it falls on the ground, because now it's dead, I broke it. When it falls on the ground, I'm gonna pick it up, and then I'm gonna mold it like clay, and then I'm gonna add some things to it, and then I'm gonna lift it up, and I'm gonna say, okay, now what I want you to do is, whomever sent you, whomever sent you, and whomever might be lurking in the shadows, working against X, Y, and Z person, I want you to go back and take some of my friends with you. I want you to go back to them. And since you didn't get what you needed from the target that they sent you to, I want you to go back hungry. I want you to go back with a vengeance, demanding they pay for sending you on a faulty mission. Now go. And return to senders, I think that they're frivolous because all you're doing is returning it back, and then that person is probably still doing whatever you feel. And so you guys are just hitting each other back and forth. I get rid of it, and then I create a fiery wall of protection around you. So even if someone tries to throw something back, it's not going to work. It's going to bounce right back with vengeance. And while all of that is going on, there's the negative energy removal, and that is the healing aspect, because if there's been negative influences in your life, then that means it's impacted you in some way. And so there's a healing element as well, which is why it's a 3-in-1. So I'll be doing that on Tuesday, the day of Mars, because we don't play around. The day of Mars, the hour of Mars. June 17th, I will post all the rest of the information on my page, and then I'll try to remind you guys every time I do a video, because a lot of people ask, how come I didn't hear about it? When did you announce it? When did you remind us? And I don't like to remind you guys too much because it makes me feel like a solicitor. And really, I do these ceremonies for myself, and every now and then I'll decide to just include other people and then slash off the regular price. All my group ceremonies are $50 a person, no matter what the ceremony is. And this will be my last for a while because I'm tired and I'm getting ready to sell my uncle's property. And so I'll be busy with real estate. So, and this ceremony, because it's a 3-in-1, and because of what I have to do in this ceremony, it requires so much energy. So, with that being said, hey, Jasmine. Sorry to all the people who start subscribing to me because you guys saw me at the beach in my bathing suit. You guys are going to find out, if you haven't already, that this ain't even that kind of channel. You're probably going to unsubscribe. You probably already have at this point, and I invite you to, because I use my spidey sense in my mind on this channel. So it's not as popping as it was a little earlier today, and I did get a few new subscribers, and I was like, look at their ass. Look at their ass. Look at their ass. I bet it's men's. I ain't checked, but I said, I bet it's men's. Yes, I have fun in the sun. Look, I'm tanned. Can't you see? Nice and browner. So yes, I had an amazing time. The water was so warm. That's why I couldn't get out of it, because it's so warm. I love beaches on the west coast of Florida, the Pacific rather than Atlantic beaches, because the Pacific waters are a lot more calm, warm, and clear. On the Atlantic, I feel like all the beaches look dingy, dirty. Miami Beach, Daytona Beach. I hate Daytona Beach with a thug passion. I hate it. Anyways, so I told you guys that we were going to talk about that incident at Harvard. Now, for those of you guys who didn't see the post that I made earlier when I announced that I would discuss this matter, because I feel like it would take me down, down, down the hole if I follow it. What was the guy's name? Harvard morgue manager. Harvard morgue case. All right, so I'm going to catch you guys up. Ex-Harvard morgue manager pleads guilty to trafficking organs, brains, and other remains. This is USA Today. Organs, brains, skin, hands, faces, and dissected heads are examples of the human remains stolen and trafficked by a former morgue manager at Harvard University. This case happened in 2023. The ex-employee admitted in federal court. Cedric Lodge, 57, pled guilty on May 21st, a couple days ago, in the Middle District of Pennsylvania, to the interstate transport of stolen human remains. Acting U.S. Attorney John Gergenes announced on May 22nd. From 2018 through at least March 2020, Lodge was involved in the sale and trafficking of human remains stolen from Harvard Medical School morgue in Boston, Massachusetts, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. At the time of the crimes, Lodge was employed as the manager of Harvard Medical School's morgue. The stolen remains came from donated cadavers after they were used for research and teaching purposes, which is legal. Federal prosecutors said before they could be disposed of, Lodge took the remains without knowledge or permission of Harvard. They made sure to say that. The donor of the cadavers or the donor's family, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. We are appalled to learn that something so disturbing could happen on our campus, a community dedicated to healing and serving others. George Daly, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, and Edward Hundert, Dean for Medical Education, said in a joint statement in 2023. The article continues. Yes, I am stoned, absolutely. So as I continue, so it says, who bought the stolen remains? Now, before I continue, in my mind, when I get to thinking, when I first heard about this, I said, oh, I know exactly where they're going. Because there's only 3 reasons in my mind. And please, I welcome you all to enlighten me. I love to be informed, enlightened, and educated. If I am missing any reasons besides these 3, please inform me. I beg. Reason number 1, educational purposes. That would be a reason to have cadavers, which is why they're at Harvard. The second reason, now, educational purposes is what you would do with organs that are not in living bodies, because if you were doing a transplant, say if this man was doing organ harvesting to do transplants, well, they wouldn't be from dead bodies, would they? Because there's no longer useful. You have to get that from a heart that's still beating or just freshly took its last beat. So he is trafficking skin, feet, hands, brains. Those aren't going to be implanted on anyone. So reason number 2, rituals. I'm aware of many of them that have use of those. If you don't want to do the old school way, like the OG obeahs do, and go dig it up out of the grave yourself, then if you got a plug, it's much easier than breaking into a cemetery and risking a trespassing charge or worse because, okay, that's reason number 2. Reason number 3, consummation, which kind of blends into reason number 2, consuming them. If I'm missing any, what would anybody else want with those besides those 3? What would anybody want with those besides those 3? I'm willing. My mind is open. Okay. I just listed 3. Educational. You use them at schools, but that's legal, so he wouldn't have to steal and traffic them. They'd probably be getting their own donated cadavers. So I know 2 other groups of people that allegedly could use those in ceremonial magic and consuming them. Maybe in ceremonial magic, maybe because they like to just do it. But this is obviously black market activity. Now, mind y'all, Trump just tried to put some clank, some tariffs on Harvard. And I mentioned he's trying to drain the old swamp. Yes, the old swamp. Not saying he's a Jesus. The old swamp has to go, so a new swamp, they can refill it. Now, who are you calling a pig, honey? If by pig you mean goddess in pig Latin, is that how you say goddess in pig Latin? Anyways, I see you trolls are coming in here because I'm asking the right question. I'm posing the right questions to the people. And if you guys, instead of trolling me, could enlighten us on something else, which would lead me to not going down this lane, I'm more than willing. I'm more than willing. I'm more than willing. I'm more than willing. But if you're going to troll, and we're talking about Harvard, we're intellectuals at this moment. We're all intellectuals at this moment. So please don't troll with the nonsense. This is Harvard, okay? This is an ICDC college. This is Harvard. Please enlighten us instead of trolling. What else would someone want to do with... Let me go. Okay, so anyways, I'll continue before I dig into it my own way. According to federal prosecutors, the stolen remains sold by Lodge were transported. Did I miss where they say where they were going? Okay. Once in Lodge's possession, he transported the remains to his home in New Hampshire. After Lodge and his wife, Denise Lodge, sold their remains, they would ship them to buyers in other states, or the buyer would purchase them directly and transport the body parts themselves, the U.S. attorney said. Okay. Now it says, according to federal, listen, in his home, yep, but that's just where he keeps them so that he can sell them on the black market like drugs. According to federal prosecutors, the stolen remains sold by Lodge were transported from the morgue to Boston, the morgue in Boston, to various locations in Salem, Massachusetts. They do a lot of rituals there. The Salem witches. Anyways, I'm just, my mind works that way, but In Pennsylvania. Lodge admitted to selling the remains to multiple individuals who have since pleaded guilty, including Jeremy Pauley, Joshua Taylor, Andrew Insenian, Matthew Lampy, and Angelo Pereira. According to court documents obtained by USA Today, Insenian and Pereira bought and transported remains worth $5,000 or more. Now, did they buy them and were they the end buyers? Or were they just transporters? Were they middlemen between the client, the end buyer, and the morgue? Because the real client is not probably going to come to this man's house and get them. They wouldn't risk being caught up in a situation like this. These are people who were transporters, which is why they caught them. We still don't know who the end buyers are. Lodge, his wife, and Taylor would communicate with potential buyers. They are transporters. They are the plugs. We don't know, and they're not telling. I say we the people. They're not telling us what they're really doing with those remains and who's buying them. They're just telling us that transporters are transporting them to the clients from Mr. Lodge. They would communicate with potential buyers of the stolen human remains through social media websites and cell phones. Black market. Because they're not talking to these people on Facebook, on Twitter, on Threads. These are social media websites that we don't know about. According to the court document, the group sometimes shipped the remains through the U.S. Postal Service, that's how he got caught, to Pennsylvania and elsewhere. Y'all ain't know about shipping narcotics through the USPS? I know somebody who got locked up. The feds was waiting on them to receive their weed from California through Federal Express. No, USPS maybe. FedEx, USPS, one of them. Just dumb. Okay, the next is talking about when will Cedric Lodge be sentenced to prison, but that's not what I care about here. So let me see if there's anything else worth mentioning in here, and it's not. All right. Now that we're caught up on what we're talking about here. Yes, doing 10 years for weed, shipping it from California, but it was because he was doing it through the Postal Service. My accent from Ontario or Milwaukee? No. Florida. All right, so I'm not going to use my oracles, but I am just going to spread this thing on out. All right. All right. Most High, Mother and Father God, thank you. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this day I've had. Thank you for YouTube for allowing me to gather here amongst us to be intellectuals, Harvard level intellectuals on this evening. Thank you for everyone joining me here, including the trolls. Whether they know it or not, they matter. To someone, somewhere, they matter. And that's worth being thankful for. And now, Spirit, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Mr. Cedric Lodge, the ex-Harvard morgue manager and human cadaver trafficker trapper. Trapping remains from Harvard. Now, is it Yale that's Skull and Bones, or is it Harvard? Because that just takes that to a whole different meaning. I think Yale has the Skull and Bones. What do they call the Harvard Illuminati fraternity order? What do they call them at Harvard? The Skin and Bones? The Brains and Bones, maybe? I'm doing very well, Joe Cool. How are you doing? Allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Cedric Lodge. I can smell formaldehyde on him. I see embalming fluid. My mind instantly goes to a lab, a morgue. I see tables. I see men in there. I see multiple men, or men and women, because they have their heads covered in this little white, like maybe a doctor would wear, like paper thin head, whatever, the things that food workers wear. And the hair sandwich bags, and their lab coats. Like I see bodies on tables. So I'm in Cedric's energy now. I can smell all of the chemicals that they use. It's the first thing I notice. It's usually a smell. And I smell formaldehyde. I think that's what it's called, or embalming fluid. I see a purple liquid. I see a blue liquid in my mind. Oh, I'm sorry, JD. You working like a slave in here, modding by yourself. And the trolls are trolling. Let me help you. JD, you know, I'm going to just put your name in the ceremony. You know, don't send me nothing for it. That goes for all of my mods who are here. Oh, Phoenix. Okay, that's fine. All of my mods, just remember, don't send me nothing for the ceremony. All right, Spirit. Cedric Lodge. What were you doing, really? What was your business with those remains that you were stealing from Harvard? What is it that I don't know about this? In my mind, he says you do know. Okay. What was your business with those stolen remains at Harvard? Jacob Lodge? Cedric Lodge. What was your real business with those remains, Cedric Lodge? Knight of Swords in reverse. He procured them, but he did not transport them. Like I mentioned, he was the one who, you know, the surgeon. He's the morgue guy. He cut, you know, he autopsies and, you know, cutting and removing things. That's his job. But taking them to where they're supposed to go on this horse, that's not who he is. Those people that went down with him, those are the transporter. Those are the middleman in this organization. He just gets them. He's just a knight. But it seems to me that whomever they're also attaching in these articles publicly they only got caught in this with him because they're transporters. You know, they're at his house. They see them going back and forth and they're like, okay, these people are buying them. But no, they said they only have $5,000 or more on them. These people aren't buying those remains. They're transporting. It makes sense that they keep a certain amount of money on them in case they get caught, because they would already know that they would be the fall guy, so that the operation continues without the whole thing going bust. And it said they pled guilty. That means they're not even going to try to fight this and let the feds try to pry the real tea out of them. So they're just going to plead guilty and go to the door, take their time to the dough. And they knew that, though. They knew that if they ever got caught, that was their position, which is why they kept money on them, because the feds can say you all were purchasing them. And they can say, yep, we were the one purchasing them. But $5,000? No. No. Ten of Pentacles in reverse in the challenging position. He's drug Harvard into this, and I do believe that this is why Harvard is getting tariffs on them by Trump. I call them tariffs. JD, we're going to get to that. I'm going to let the cards tell the story because I'm already at the finish line. I was there before I started, which is why I decided to do this reading with y'all, so that I can tell y'all what I saw in my mind when I saw the article. Before the cards are here, I use them to help tell the story for you guys, but when I saw the story, it all flashed before my mind. Why is everybody so worried about me smoking some weed? I am almost 40 years old. Not that almost. I'll be 38 this year, but I can do what I want at this stage of life. I'm probably older than all these trolls in here. And y'all ain't doing nothing but getting on auntie nerves. The problem and the challenging position is that Harvard is not going to support him. They're going to say, we ain't had nothing to do with this. But why is this in his challenging position? Why is Harvard saying, bruh, we ain't got nothing to do with this. You taking us down. And I do believe that this is why Trump is doing what he's doing to Harvard. He's draining the old swamp. And the old swamp usually involve child traffickers and black market people. I mentioned in a reading before that I believe that the black market fuels a lot of the U.S.'s economy, and it's laundered through various means. It's like our economy bubbles up from the underworld, and we just reap the harvest on the surface of what's been washed clean from black market activity. But there's new sheriffs in town. There's a new guard in town, as I've mentioned many times. And so he's draining this swamp, getting rid of all of those. Everybody who came for him, like, didn't he just kind of allude to that today? I'm speaking of Trump in his Memorial Day post, talking about people who came for him before. He is coming for everyone who came for him. Trump is using the presidency, I believe, as a weapon of vengeance. Yes, Life D, a new swamp. I say draining the old swamp for a reason. I don't just say draining the swamp. I throw old in there because I'm specifying he's just draining the old swamp. There's new sheriffs in town. Not saying it's not going to be a swamp, though, JD. I didn't say he was draining the swamp and making a very clean, beautiful ocean. It might look like that on the surface, so I'll say he's creating a lake. Lakes are kind of clean, but they're also kind of dirty. They're in between oceans and swamps. Lakes. He might create a lake. Because even creating a lake and cleaning up things serves a purpose. And if you've been watching me for a while, then you know this. You know already because I've spoken about it. In the past, this is black market activity because it's going from up to down, meaning he's procuring them from legitimate sources. They were donated to Harvard for educational purposes, but he's taking them and sending them to below the black market, I believe. And there are various wands of opportunity to be used. Now, I said 3. There's more than even I know about. But I'm not a part of that lifestyle, so I don't know all of them. But I'm going to clarify this so we can see. He's not going to take it to trial. He's pled guilty So there's going to be no trial. The public will never get to know all the gory details. And it's set up this way. He's pleading guilty. The co-defendants are pleading guilty. Nobody's fighting. They're just saying, sure. Sure. It was us. Sure. Curious, isn't it? Oh, this is green tea, by the way. All right. It seems that he's not willing to give up the client. But we see that because, like I mentioned, they only had $5,000 on them when they got caught. And then they all pleaded guilty. And they were like, yeah, we're the procurers. But how are they procuring with $5,000? Let me go back up to this article. These things seem like they would be expensive. I gotta refresh this page. Hey, sissy, at a barbecue. Yes, for the barbecue. Was the food good? I think he's pleading guilty because he doesn't want to give up who the real buyer is. They're supposed to remain anonymous because they're kind of godlike in a way, mysterious. Mysterious. Probably very, 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 very powerful, but quietly. This wouldn't even be like a billionaire, like a regular billionaire or something like that. This would have to be like one of those people that you never hear about. Okay, I'm sorry, the page was reloading. Now, $5,000, can you purchase Thank you, little kneecap lover. Let me go back up here to what they said he stole. Organs, brains, skin, hands, faces, and dissected heads are only examples of the human remains stolen and trafficked. Just examples. They caught them with like $5,000 on them. So yeah, you're not gonna take. They all pleaded guilty because nobody's interested in giving up the mysterious anonymous end client. This would be trafficking and black market activity. They don't want to talk, so they pled guilty. You know, actually, when I was trying to describe the people in my mind, I actually saw castles, which is why I said these are people that we would never hear of. What I really want to say is elite families, bloodlines is what comes to my mouth, but I didn't want to say it. Bloodlines, families, bloodlines. I think that they are the main benefactors, even of black market activity, benefactors of the black market. Like everybody else just gets to eat, but they created it so that they can have access to all of these things. Castles are in my mind. People with webbed feet and deformities. People that don't come out, not even to buy groceries. You know, I actually believe in vampires. Not the way the movies portray them to make us feel like they're stories, but I actually believe in vampires, which is why I brought up consuming the remains. And then when in my mind I hear bloodlines, my spirits say, you know what I'm talking about. You're just trying to find a way to say it, but not say it for the public. Yes, Phoenix. I think at the very bottom or top, as above, so below, of the black market, I think that they created it. And I think that all streams flow back to that ocean. Yes, JD. I smell it. I smell it. I smell the iron of blood in my nose. Coagulated sometimes. I could even see brown blood, dried blood. Nasty stuff, nasty work. In my mind, I'm in the black market and I can smell all kinds of, I wouldn't even know what to call all of these smells, the things that I see, dark rooms, like basements. I see stone walls, dark. I see old stains, dark stains on cement floors. And my spirits say it's multiple human liquids, because I would simply think that what I'm seeing in my mind is just blood, but it's okay. All right. All right. I won't go there because I'm on YouTube. None of them want to talk for a reason. This man was a large part of something. It seems like, and this is just in the external position, so obviously he used his position, him being the morgue manager at Harvard, to be a pusher. But this tells me that he felt very, very, very free about taking these. I haven't seen the Seven of Swords yet, and that is the card for stealing and thievery and secrecy. Not the High Priestess in reverse for doing this behind someone's back, but what I do have in the challenging position is what I believe to be Harvard and their institution losing money because they're being hit by tariffs, hit with tariffs by Trump. Now, why is that here in this man's reading? And here, this King of Cups, he's not stealing. This is open. He has a cup in his hand. A cup is open. So, Harvard, come out and play. Of course, you guys have to separate yourself from this man. But this is Harvard motherfucking University. You don't know that your morgue manager, none of the other staff know? He's not the morgue attendant, the morgue tech. For the 2 years that he was doing this before he got caught, and he didn't stop until he got caught. He didn't get fired until he got caught. You mean to tell me that this King of Cups was stealing, and I don't see no stealing cards here yet? Hopes and fears, Trump. But it's not really a fear for him. That's why he's pleading guilty. And here's Trump, and I say this because it's a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius male in the hope and fears. I think that's more of a concern for this legacy institution. Now, there's a castle here on this card, and you see the crest, the generational crest, the family crest right there. for the, you know, this is generations, institutions, family, bloodlines, because you see an elderly person, dogs, a young person. So, and this, my dear, is the arch entering into a castle and a castle's courtyard. That's Harvard. Harvard, I could say something about you, but I'm gonna keep it cute because I'm on YouTube. This man, the outcome is that he will go down for this as he planned. If anything happens, he goes down, but look what's behind him. He's the fall guy, but the curtain still remains closed about where all these organs were really going. So he's satisfied. He'll be all right too. He'll be all right. The man, even in whatever confinement he's in, he will be all right. He won't be going through it. He won't be going through a hard time where he is. And I think Trump is kind of pissed off about that. So he's hitting them because because these people won't talk. And Trump wants to get them all so that his new guard, you know, Elon and his people, that they can rule the world. They want the old elite bloodlines out. I think Trump is pissed off because he couldn't get to what he really wanted to get to. He's always looking for a way to expose black market activity and the people who used to run it so that they can take the fall for it. The world will think it's all gone. The world will be like, he got the black market people and the black market. We're safe. That's why I called it a lake and not a swamp. Draining the swamp to create a lake. We're all safe now. They got the black market. He gonna be like, look, that y'all got those black market people. Business continues, bitch. So this man and his secrets will remain because these activities hidden behind this curtain here, they will go on. This man, if it ever went south, these men knew that they would go down, and he'll be just fine. And I think Trump is pissed. The black market rules the world. It's not what you guys see above. That's why I say don't even bother fighting about the stuff that you guys fight about, and because of, you know, the politics and stuff. See why everybody else is fighting the theater show? I go and I sneak out and sniff out the snake. And I'll cut his head off while everybody else is fighting puppets. I'll go and handle the snakes because I can see them. I'm never distracted. Never distracted by the circus. Never, ever. I got a bloodhound nose. Nine of Cups in the outcome. This man will be all right. Now, this is Trump as the queen, not the king, because he couldn't really wield that sword like he wanted to. But he got his little lick in so he can create some tariffs. And this man, this seems to be like a aha Trump, aha. Look, he's smug. Well, the cards are getting old, so I'll order some new ones, but he's got a very smug look on his face, like, aha. So Trump could only do his little 1-2 and hit them in their pockets. The Marcottes, I'll look into them. Blazin'. I like that name too. Here's the Gemini card. Trump, I believe, is behind. I think he is punishing Harvard because of this. This is a powerful Gemini card, and our president would be a powerful Gemini as the president. He hit them with his sanctions because of this situation and because he couldn't get them like he wanted to. This is him really wanted to get them. Now, what did he really want to do to them? Let's see. He wanted to tear the whole successful operation down. Here's the black market, and here's our regular economy. But they are on the same vehicle of success. Now, one could say he wants to tear it down so that he can make it upright again, and then he can sit on it. And he's out on a vengeance to everyone who went against him, everyone who he knows is really the power players. They do this, the circus in the media because it gets the people going. And it does distract you from these invisible people, because if you ask the same questions I'm asking, then things start to make a little bit more sense. All right, he wants to tear down this operation and expose them, but for his own benefit, obviously. So let's look at the tariffs he hit them with. That man ain't stupid. Donald Trump has been a successful businessman for all of our lives, and he's on his second presidential term. He's a lot of things, but stupid. A clown? Yes. And I think he knows that. I think he likes to get his little kikis in. I think he fancies himself a comedian. But that's a Gemini for you. Never think they're stupid. They have two sides to themselves, two faces. A Gemini stupid, that they will be the last zodiac sign that I would think is stupid off of face value. Did I say anywhere in here that I'm backing Trump? Nizzle, get the hell out of here. I haven't backed a politician since I was 18. Bitch, Dina for president. And then what would I do? Abolish the government. Because I don't need to govern y'all. None of us do. Hell, we barely governing ourselves. Now, this is how things are going to work, but I'm not going to govern y'all. There'll be consequences and things, but no. Why would I endorse a president when I don't believe in one person? I don't believe in people governing people. Do you need to be governed? Because if you do, then that's sad as an adult. I don't need to be governed by anybody. I'm self-governed. So I don't endorse anybody but my motherfucking self. Dina for president. Because if I become president, the first thing I do, besides get some head in the Oval Office, is burn it down like that plantation just did. I'd get my rocks off in that. I would get some Lewinsky in that office for the ancestors, and I would burn it down. That would be my first duty as your president. The second, after I get my Lewinsky on. For the culture, okay? Because if they got to do it, oh yes, Big Mama gets to do it too. While smoking a blunt. What you mean? And yes, put it on Fox News or whatever the news stations is. My people need to see this. They need to see me representing. Hmm? Call me Billie Holiday up in that thing. Mm-hmm. Somebody's white son would have their legs and their head in the motherland's earth, and I'd be smoking a nice fat one, and I'd say, set up the press as this goes on. And I'd like to address the nation. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Mm. I'd like to address this nation. Ooh. Less teeth, more spit. As your new leader, I would like to say that this shit is fire. Could be better if it was a black man. But this white man is down here worshiping Mother Earth for the ancestors. I am doing this as my first act of the president flicks ash on the Oval Office carpet. My second act, and then I just push the man away, get up, and they be like, where the fuck's she going? Smoke my blunt all the way down out the door, spilling gasoline out my Yeti as I go. Where is that gasoline smell coming from? Stand on the line. R.I.P. I just kid. I'm just kidding. I just kid. Thank you, Blasian Asian. I'll bring you with me to do it. You'd be my first Blasian VP. All you got to do is lock the doors behind me so no one can get out. All right. I think this is Harvard, and I'd like to see if I'm right. Can you twerk, drip? Can you do what you asking me to do? You do it first, and I'll follow the line leader. You show me what your cheeks can do first. You bust it for Big Mama first, and then I'll go. Glued to the TV, Jasmine. Just raise your glass when I do it. Right, clap it. Drip. Drip. I don't hear it. I don't hear that sound. I don't think you're twerking hard enough. 10 of Pentacles in reverse. I wonder if that's Harvard. Feeling like, keep me out of this. You done already got me caught up with Trump. Now he charging and telling people we can't collect no more tuition since we making it from the streets. Trump said you don't need tuition if you making it from the streets. Right, Drip. My soul tells me, because your name is Drip, that you could probably do it better than me. I might need you to teach me how to, because mine don't sound like this when I clap, but I bet yours do. Oh, Drip. Nasal drip. Oh, nasal drip. Tip drip. I like that. Tip drip, nasal drip. Drippy, drippy toes, drippy, drippy toes. Y'all know that's the song, Tippy Toes. I love that song. Drippy, drippy toes, drippy, drippy toes. Right. Yes, drip. Get on them drippy toes and shake that thing for me, since you so damn thirsty. All right. Did Trump say that they can't get tuitions? Let me see what Trump said they can't do. Now, this is the Queen of Pentacles reverse. So tuition is not, I don't think, their main source of income. It's not the King of Pentacles. It's the Queen. The King is the provider, even for his Queen. So behind Harvard, it's like he hit us big in our tuition. But what he was really after, damn it, cars flying because they don't want me to tell, is the King of Pentacles here. That was behind Trump, and what he's really after, it seems their main source of income. I'm going to leave him off to the side for a moment. And so they backpedaled and pussy popped and said, we ain't got nothing to do with this. But this is a knight in reverse. He's still a knight. And this knight is all go. But in their challenging position, hit the brakes. There's another wand here. In the past, remember, I said taking legitimate stuff and sending it down to the black market? These are the only two wands here. One came out for Harvard's and one came to the past position activity, taking them from up and then sending them down below. Now, let's look into there. Oh, the old guard. After Queen Elizabeth passed away, I think that the rest of them weren't able to sustain. She seemed to have been a formidable force because once she passed away, it seems like Trump was able to start picking at everybody else under her, one by one. But before, he couldn't even stay in the White House. Now that she's gone, we have the first American Pope. And he's Trump's Pope. Oh, the Queen. The Old Guard. The Queen and the Old Guard, I believe, are falling. The royals. And not just the Queen of England. I mentioned before elite bloodlines. Possibly other royal bloodlines. Some we haven't heard of. I hear Transylvania. There's a family there. That's why I smelled the vampire energy. There's a family in Transylvania. I don't know what their names is. I'm just saying that there is one. I smell them. They are the iron that I smell. They might be the most powerful after. They might still be very, very, very powerful and dangerous. I'm only saying that because of the way I feel. I think that other elite families are scared of this family in Transylvania because they vampires. And they got different powers. Like being here one moment and then the next moment being there. In front of you and then behind you. And then the next thing you know, right in the back, in the side of your neck from the back. Oh, sexy, sassy. You'll have to catch Ponder replay. I'm too far deep now to do a recap. I'm in too deep. Families. Another wand. I think they set up the black market. It's for them. But then everybody else kind of takes the fall. Like, plenty people can get busted for their black market activities, but never will we see. Now, this is a castle too. This is a castle as well. This is a nobleman. And he's holding this wand. So again, I think that the black market are for these families, royal families. This is a Taurus card, like Queen Elizabeth, and royalty is it falls under the energy of Taurus, and Leo. I think the black market activity is for them, and everybody else just eats off of it. KC3 has property in Transylvania. Who the hell is that? I saw KC3 and I'm like, Casey and JoJo got property in Transylvania? You mean to tell me? I use elite lightly, but I don't want to be as explicit as I could be. King Charles. Ah, now I actually did hear something about him. They are cousins to a family in Transylvania. It's not just that he has properties there. They're related. They're cousins. That's why he has the property there. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I'm in there now. I'm in the booty hole now. I have to put comedic moments in there because what I on the inside, I have to put some comedic relief in there for me. And it gives me a moment to choose my words wisely because I am on YouTube. One more for the bloodline family. One more for that spirit. Talk to me. What would you like us to know about these families? Something real good that we need to know. Hidden in plain sight. They've been spoken of in many places. You can go on YouTube and look at any video that's probably labeled a conspiracy theory. But there are a lot of good documentaries that are just historical facts on some of these people. Have nothing to do with the theories other than what actually, they will bring up theories and rumors and factual things about these people, but hidden in plain sight. And everything that we need to know about what they do and who they are, we have that in plain sight too. Oh, sexy sassy, thank you. I'm gonna wrap this up soon because it's almost 10 and I don't want to keep you guys all night. But I think that this is a certain institution's main source of income. I think what Trump took from them is only one source of their income. He was trying to get what really makes them money, wealthy. Harvard is an institution. It's been around for hundreds of years. Now, here's the first time that I have a sneaky stealing card, and it comes out behind Trump going after, I believe, their main source of income. So is this Cedric who's doing this stealing, or is it Cedric and the institution that's getting these donations allegedly only for education? But because this is Two of Pentacles, this tells me tuition and other stuff. Laundering, I believe. Taking money from here and then sending it through the process up into here. And here is washing it. There's water back here. And this is a stage. So this means everything is all an illusion. Everything that we think we know about economy, we don't. It's all a play. This man looks like he's a juggler, right? A fool. Distracting us, right? Hey, everybody. Tariffs in China. Meanwhile, the black market. It makes more sense to me that countries fight over who gets to control the black market. than what we see them arguing about. Seeking donations. This institution, this is a stealing card. Seeking donations. Now, is this just this one man, or is this 3 people here? And does this not look like one of the halls of Harvard? I said I've been seeing castles in my mind, and I've been seeing them here all the time. And then sending, what, here, look, seeking donations from people offering them, you know, and we're going to do this for education to help build up the school's legacy. But the moon of illusion and deceit also behind the card of deceit. This is a partnership here. And does this not look like one of Harvard's halls? So I can ask a lot more questions here, but for time's sake, and I keep dropping. Never dropped this many in a reading ever. Stories that don't want to be told. Especially not from my black hands, my melanated hands. That's just what I heard in my mind. They can be told, but just not by you, is what I heard in my mind. Well, I told it. So I have family in England. They go there for vacation. I bet it's beautiful. Cold. I don't. What would one do in England on a vacation? When I hear vacation, I think nice weather or something like that. But maybe the shopping is good in England because you guys got the good shopping districts and stuff. London's pretty. It's pretty hip. I gave SZA a run for her money. When I did that? I can't even sing in cursive like her. When I do that? I don't even know how to do her inflections and her accents. Greetings, Michael Hollins. God bless you. All right, before I go, we got 10 minutes. Any questions, concerns, feedback, anything you guys might have sparked an idea in your mind in this matter and might want me to, hey, you forgot to ask this. Yeah, I figure she's related somewhere, and they need her melanin. They don't need a full-fledged like me. But fortunately, their ancestors were smart enough to put some melanin in their bloodline a few generations back, knowing that they would need it to survive. Survival. I get it. I get it. Yeah, they needed. Yeah, they needed some in there. They needed that drop. They needed it. Look at them. If they don't need it, they need to move from England because it's not hot enough over there, and they need some sunlight. They look ghastly. They look like they're count cousins. That pale skin, it ain't just that England dreary weather. No, they over there. They over there Harvarding. That's what I'm gonna call it. Harvarding. I'm not gonna do that because Harvard said that they didn't have anything to do with it, and that is what they said. Adrenochrome and all kind of other chromes, chromosomes, 20-inch chromes, you name it. I believe after a person is done something to in a certain way, I believe that they lose a lot of bodily fluids, and I believe those various bodily fluids do various things when ingested. Thank you, Sexy Sassy. You're such a kind spirit. I'm so grateful to have you here. Yeah, the fountain of youth. Somebody asked me the other day. They said, "Adina, you look like you found the fountain of youth." I said, "Found it, bitch. I was birthed from it. I was birthed from those waters. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. God did it." Sure, I'll take that. I'll claim it. And if I had to come back here, I'd come back the same way. Did I address the 13 bloodlines? Not 13 of them, but I talked about them. Specifically, one that came to mind, well, two, was the Queen and her family over in England and their family over in Transylvania. I think that's the old guard, though. And I think that the royals in England might have a bigger issue with Trump than the Transylvanians do, because they have different abilities, I believe, that not even the England cousins have. Like, one cousin has web feet and then the other one has invisibility skills. You know, it's like that. I think the Queen learned from her cousins to stay alive as long as she could, but because of whatever is in her DNA, she just couldn't. It was time to go, as it is for all of them at some point, 1,000 years or 76. Only here is time relevant, so the vampires like it here, because time is on their side here. But once time doesn't matter, then they kind of lose their power. They only have power here. But like in the other realm, where they have other equals and like kinds and time doesn't exist, then they would cease to exist if they weren't here on Earth, where time is ruler. That's why the vampires don't want to die. It's not that they can't. They don't want to. Because time doesn't exist on the other side. And what would happen to what would happen to them? Not their souls, but what would happen to them if they were to go somewhere where their best asset, which is time, doesn't exist? Would they cease to exist if they have to do certain things to prolong their time? Then that means if time is taken away, maybe the natural thing would be for them to not exist. And so, here on Earth, there's time. And there's a limitless supply of the fountain of youth. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. But those are just theories, imaginations from a rambling mind of someone who smokes marijuana. Were the organs from us? Well, let's see, Jasmine. I think they take them, they need such a large quantity. I don't think it can exclusively be for us. But on birthdays and holidays, when they bring in the good wine, the good blood and stuff, and having the libations, I think they do get the creme de la creme. Mm-hmm. I think Africans and African Americans, the Wagyu, The Wagyu. Oh yeah, the Wagyu. Just because there is a lot of known trafficking in Africa, there is a lot of known trafficking and systems that, if in theory, would probably support trafficking. In theory, imagination, like the child protective system, that would, the prison system, the medical complex, easy, easy money, easy access. I mean, we just, in my mind, I feel like, well, if that were to be true, only if that were to be true, then I can see how it would work. I can see how there is an endless supply of these things coming from various systems that seem like a lake. Kind of clean. I'm doing the right things. But what about all the people that just be disappearing in thin air? I have family member. I have an uncle who was a foster family, and he ended up catching a charge. The kind that you probably think he would have caught. He didn't. They didn't charge him, but he got accused, and he had to go to court for it. And I'll stand with the victims always, because they had a very, very, very hard time after that. One of them wrote a book about it and about her drug abuse and how all of those things hurt her. But things happen in those systems easily. Think about all the prison people who get sentenced to forever and eternity in prison, ain't got no family checking on them. Who would even know? Think about people that's like been locked up in the hole somewhere. People don't even know that they in prison. Would everyone know every part of a prison? What if there are parts in prisons that house people that are off limits? Nobody even knows those parts exist. Prisons transport too. Medical people transport. Prisons transport. Child protective services transport people, children from one place to the next. All of them have a lot of things in common. If I were to just be like, ooh, let's just play around with that idea, that fairy tale, because that's what all of this is. Fairy tales and fallacies. But Jasmine asked, is it black people? You wonder if the organs were black people. Let's see. Spirit, who were the organs from that they were siphoning from Harvard? To anyone that's in the system, be vigilant. Guard yourselves. Get you some woo done. Get you some juju done. You are a human being. You are half flesh and half spirit. And if an angel is a spirit and a God is a spirit, and you also are partially spirit, that means you have the same rights. And sometimes even more than some angels and demons, because you're a creation that they've never even seen before. They exist in time, and then they exist outside of time. When their flesh deteriorates, they don't cease to exist. They can live on the earth. We can't. Maybe that's what the war in heaven was about between Genesis 1st and Genesis 2nd. The humans. They're powerful. So, if you're in the system, you are not powerless. You're not powerless. If anybody is in the system and wants to participate in any group ceremony, I'll even slash that in half for you. My group ceremonies are $50 per person. And no, when I don't offer them as a group ceremony, the regular price is not 50. So the group ceremonies are 50 no matter what ceremony I do, and I don't offer anything that cheap. If you were in the system and you would like some protection work, a healing work, negative energy work, that's the fuck around and find out. Not even 50 for you. Half off, 25. Because let's not be vulnerable here. You have rights and powers that you can assert for yourself. Yes, Phoenix. I don't know if you were in the Blockbuster. Probably, yes. If you were a mod, yes, 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 yes. All my mods were. And you'll be in the fuck around and find out that I do on the 17th. Were the cadavers black that were being sent to the buyers in the black market? Anyways, I announced it in this video, Phoenix, so you'll just have to, it's at the beginning of this one. And I'm going to post it in my post. Yes, you can, Jasmine. Some of everybody. But melanated beings are the creme de la creme. Because they come from, now this is Torah. Tarot, Torah. The book of the law. Given in they're the best. I think they're the fountain of youth. They keep this wheel turning. The wheel of fate. Everybody's good. But do I think that black people are the fountain of youth for them? Yes. The wheel of fortune is the card of fate. Yes, Queenie. Absolutely. Keeps them in the wheel of fate. I'm just trying to help the baby stay safe out here in these systems that are supposed to help, but they got all your profile. Another thing besides transporting they all have in common, they know your whole profile. In prison, they know your medical history. They know your legal history. In the hospital, they know your medical history, your blood type, your what's healthy in you and what's not. In CPS, same. They have charts and profiles that they create once you come into the system. I'll clarify this though, Jasmine, and then I'll end here. I have to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning for my niece's graduation. I have to meet with my uncle about their house at 10, and I'm unprepared for that. And then I have training at 2. We are too dismissive about things. At first, I said this was hidden in plain sight. This is ignoring what's hidden in plain sight. I just spoke of 3 systems that could be used hypothetically to feed the beast. And look, maybe, just maybe, these 3 systems do feed the beast. Maybe. I also think, though, that there's a preference, because this person is just like, I don't want this, even though I have access to it. What I would now, who is very, very, very much prevalent in those systems? Now, the medical system, we all are, but the prison system and the child protective system, lots and lots and lots and lots of minorities. That's why this person says, yeah, I have access to everybody, but I want what I can pick out from these systems. Because that's where the fountain of youth is. What's going on? Who's getting a congratulations? y'all congratulating in here? Oh, my niece, she's graduating from kindergarten. But I will. It's Nyla. I will. They don't even get real cap and gowns, but my sister bought her one because she was so inspired seeing her mommy graduate the other weekend. And so my sister got her a cap and gown so that she can have that experience. But I will. So many missing people that never, cases never closed. So many people that just go missing that are unresolved. We don't know about them. We know about them, but the cases are open for cold forever. The cases get shut and closed. They get, explained away. So many unanswered things left without closure. And it's too much for us to continue to be apathetic. This is apathy. It's just too much. Why don't we ever demand what is happening to all of the missing people, the missing children? Can we put all the other shenanigans aside for a moment? But we've gotten to the point where we don't even value children. People ain't even having them. And when they do, sometimes they are boiled down to checks, raw emotions that they had during sex, and then permanent consequences. That is the culture today, which continues to feed all of these systems. All of this YOLO culture today, it fills the prisons. It fills the hospitals and clinics because y'all keep giving each other STDs. It fills abortion clinics, maybe it used to, but it fills the system. Babies getting taken away from neglect, and they'll take your baby away real quick, really quick. Take them away and you'll never get them back sometimes. And you may not even really have done what they said, but an anonymous person could have made an allegation on you to the Child Protective Service, and they can just rush right in. Now, they don't do it for everybody, but in the cases that they do, and then people just never see their kids again. They fight it and fight it and fight it. My ear is ringing like shit. Fight it and fight it and fight it, but the system is just no, 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 no. You're unfit. Your child is safer here. And they never get them back. What about all of the missing children that are actually reported missing that are never found, that just they be missing forever? So many questions we could ask, but we're not valuing those things. It's that YOLO lifestyle. Everybody outside. Nobody even likes each other anymore. Nobody even likes kids anymore, it seems. Let alone care enough to ask what's happening to them. People go to prison. Fuck you. Shouldn't have landed in there. Shouldn't have did what you did. I can't do that time with you. I was 7 when my daddy went to prison. I feel like I did that entire 20 years with him. Because what he finna do and what nobody else is finna do is treat him like he doesn't have a family. Now, he was in the feds, and he said, I don't know. He said it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as a state prison. But even as a child, I knew I'm not going to have my daddy in here feeling alone. And then as I got older, I ain't finna have these people thinking that this man ain't got nobody. Because if I come in here to see about my daddy and somebody can't explain to me why he not here, yeah, feds is better. So many unanswered questions. So that's that. I went down a few rabbit holes here digging into this Cedric Lodge case. And I'll probably go down a few more now that I'm in the booty hole of it all. I feel a, an exam, a prostate exam coming on to the system. And I'm going to get all in there. I'm going to clean those colons, those bowels, one by one. All right, you guys. It's been really real. Hola and adios, Jackson. Hola and adios.